Hello, grade 12s. Welcome back to yet another insightful lesson. So today we're going to be working with a paper from November 2023, and we're going to be looking specifically at question 5, which reads as follows. Ice is usually used in cool drinks to further cool them. Ice can be made by freezing water in different shapes. Cubes are the most common shape used to make ice. And there on the side we have been given a picture of ice cubes and diagram of an ice cube, and then we've also been given the side length, which is one of the dimensions of the ice cube, which is 4.5 centimeters. So the question goes on and says, use the information above to answer the questions that follow. Determine the surface area of a cube. You may use the following formula, and there we have been given the formula to calculate the surface area of an ice cube. And before we get into the questions, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So we have to determine the surface area of this ice cube to see its actual size, or the surface area. And then they say you may use the formula. We have been given the formula there to calculate surface area of a cube. So we're just going to take it as it is and start with question 5.1. We have been given the formula, so we're just going to take the formula and say surface area of ice equals to 6 multiplied by side length squared. So this is basically the formula that has been given to us. Now all we have to do is just to substitute and get to the answer. So we're going to say 6 multiplied by, what is the side length of our ice, right? So given the dimensions here, we see that the length is 4.5 centimeters. So we're just going to say 4.5 centimeters squared. This squared is not for the centimeter, but for the whole dimension. So just to not to get confused, what you can do is that you can just put it in brackets like this to show that this square is not only just for the centimeter as a dimension, but for the whole thing, for the number as well. Okay, so what you can do now is that you can say 6 multiplied by, and then calculate this one. Just say 4.5 squared. So we're going to click that on the calculator and say 4.5 squared, and that equals to 20.25 centimeters, right? Okay, so now you're going to click the whole thing and say 6 multiplied by 20.25 equals to, it gives us a total of 121.5 centimeters squared. You have to put the squared because it is an area, it's the surface area, and we all know that surface area is always in surface area we always use squared. Okay, so this is our final answer for question 5.1. We're going to go to the next question. So 5.2, the scenario says countries surrounding the North Pole have started building ice hotels for travelers to stay overnight. The hotel buildings with furniture and decorations are made of big blocks of ice, each weighing 2 tons. Blocks of ice are stacked on top of each other to build a room. Ice can also be carved to form different shapes. And then there we can see the picture of the hotel, the room that they're talking about. And then they also tell us that ice carved to make a frame for taking photos. Okay, so the first question says, calculate the total mass in kilograms of a wall built with 60 big blocks of ice. And then we've been told there that 1 kilogram equals to 0.001 ton. Okay, so here they want us to calculate the total mass of one wall that is made up of 60 blocks, but they want our answer to be in kilograms. But when we look at the dimensions there, we have not been given our dimensions in kilograms. We've been given our dimensions in tons, and we've also been shown how to convert from kilograms to tons. So this means that we first have to take the weight of one ice block, which is 2 tons, and convert it to kilograms, and then after that we're going to multiply it by the number of blocks that have been used to build this wall. Okay, so it's question 5.2.1. We're going to start by doing what? we're converting tons to kilograms. We take the information that we've been provided with that says 1 kilogram equals to 0.001 ton. This is the information that has been given to us, okay? Now we're converting. We're gonna say we're looking for kilograms. So on this side of the kilograms, we're gonna put X, and on this side, we're gonna put what we have, okay? We have tons. How many tons? We have 2 tons, which is basically the weight of 1 ice block, okay? So we want to know the weight of 1 ice block in kilograms, and then we're going to take the weight and multiply it by 60 to get the total answer. So we're going to say 1 multiplied by 2 equals to X multiplied by 0.001, okay? So 1 multiplied by 2, obviously it's going to be what? It's going to be 2, and then equals to X multiply, it's going to be 0.001 X, and then we do what? We find X now. We're going to divide both sides by the number that is on the same side of the X, which is 0.001, and then even on this side 0.001. This one cancels this one, and then we're only left with X on the side. X equals 2. Now we're going to do what? We're going to say 2 divided by 0.001, and that gives us a total of 2,000, okay? So that means that X equals to 2,000 kilograms. So this means that 1 block of ice weighs 2,000 kilograms. 1 block of ice weighs 2 tons, and that means that it weighs 2 kilograms, okay? So this is the weight of 1 block. And then if you go back to the scenario, you remember that we've been told that this wall that we're calculating the weight for, they used 60 blocks of ice. We have the weight of only 1 block, and then we're going to multiply it by 60 to get the total weight of the whole wall, okay? So we're going to say multiply by 60 blocks of ice, and then we're going to click down the calculator and say 2,000 multiplied by 60 blocks, and our answer is 120,000 kilograms. This is our final answer. This means that for this particular wall, or rather this wall weighs or has a total weight of 120,000 kilograms, okay? So it's 120,000 kilograms worth of ice that has been used to build that particular wall. I hope this was helpful. And now we're going to go to the next question, which is question 5.2.2. So here they say a block of ice was carved out to make a circular opening. The carved out ice was melted, resulting in water with a volume of 38,500 cubic centimeters. Calculate the volume of the ice that was carved out. You may use the formula. We've been given the formula to calculate the volume of water there. That says volume of water equals to volume of ice multiplied by 0.92. So just to make sure that we all understand the scenario, we're going to read it again and make sure that we understand exactly what's required of us to do here. So they say a block of ice was carved out to make a circular opening, okay? So when they were carving out this block of ice, some water was melted, and then the amount of water that was melted made a total volume of 38,500 cubic centimeters, okay? So now they want us to calculate the volume of the ice that was carved out, okay? We've been given the formula there. So we're just gonna take the formula as it is and say, I know that we do have the volume of the water. We have been given the volume of the water, but we're just going to use the formula as it is, okay? We're going to say volume of water equals to volume of ice multiplied by 0.92. This is the formula that was given to us. Now what we have to do is that we have to substitute, okay? So we put what we have where it's supposed to go. So first, do we have volume of water? Yes, we do have volume of water, which is 38,500 cubic centimeters. So we're going to say 38,500 cubic centimeters and put it on the volume of water because it is the volume of the water. Volume of ice, we do not have the volume of the ice. That is what the question is asking us to calculate, the volume of the ice. So we're just going to leave it as it is. We can just say V of ice multiplied by 0.92. Okay, so now we can start with calculations. Okay, so what we have to do on this side, so it's obvious that it's going to be 38,500 cubic centimeters equals to 0.92 V. Basically, like let's say for instance this V was an X, okay? Or just not to confuse you guys, let me just forget I said that. Just forget I said that. So what you do from this step now, from here, is that since you have like the thing that you're calculating or the answer that you're trying to find is on this side with a number, what you're going to do is the same thing that we did on this side with the cross multiplication method. You're just going to take the number that goes with the thing that's supposed to be your answer, which is 0.92, and divide that number on both sides, because you know what you do on the left hand side you also have to do on the right hand side as well. So this means that we're also going to do the same thing on this side, so that on this side we're only left with volume of ice, so that our answer will be from this side. So it's 0.92. Okay, so on this side 0.92 cancels 0.92 and we're only left with the volume of ice, which is basically what we wanted. Okay, so here we're going to say 38,500 divided by 0.92. That gives us a total of 41,847.82609. Do not forget that this is not your final answer, so you write it as it is. Okay, equals to this side we're only left with volume of ice. Okay, so this means that volume of ice equals to 41,847.82609. Okay, so the question was asking us to calculate the volume of the ice that was carved out, and this means that this is our final answer. Okay, sorry, it has to be in cubic centimeters as well because it's the volume. Volume is always in cubic measures. It can be cubic meters, cubic centimeters, cubic millimeters, but it has to be in cubes. Just like I said with the area and surface area are always in square, and then volume is always in cubes. I hope that makes sense. So this means that just to round off our answer, it's going to be 41,847.83 cubic centimeters. This is an 8. So this is our final answer for question 5.2.2. I hope it is clear enough. Now we're going to go to question 5.3. So question 5.3 says, Alaska is one of the states in the USS. Anchorage, I can't pronounce that, is the largest city in Alaska. Annexure D shows a part of the globe indicating the shortest distances in nautical miles between Anchorage and a few selected cities in the world. Note, 1 nautical mile equals to 1.151 miles, and 1 kilometer equals to 0.6215 miles. Okay, so they say you may use the annexure and the information above to answer the question that follow. First question, 5.3.1. Determine in nautical miles the difference in the distances from Tokyo to Honolulu and from Washington to Anchorage. So here we have to do what? We first have to determine the distance between Tokyo and Honolulu, and also the distance between Washington and Anchorage. And then once we find the two distances, we're going to determine the difference. It means that we're going to take the bigger one and subtract the smaller one. Okay, so first, 5.3. So first, we're going to have to determine the distance from Tokyo to Honolulu. Okay, so from Tokyo to Honolulu, and also the distance from Washington to Anchorage. Okay, so we're going to use the annexure and check. So when we're looking at the annexure there, the distance from Tokyo to Honolulu seems to be 3,350 nautical miles. Okay, so we're going to write it here and say 3,350 nm for nautical miles. And then the distance from Washington to Anchorage is 2,900 nautical miles. Okay, so now we have the two distances. What we have to do is to determine the difference. Okay, so we're going to take 3,350 nautical miles and subtract 2,900 nautical miles. And then click that on the calculator and say 3,350 minus 2,900. So the difference is 450 nautical miles. So this is our final answer. It's the difference from the difference between the distance from Tokyo to Honolulu and from Washington to Anchorage, 450 nautical miles. So I'm just going to clear here, and then we're going to go to the next question. Okay, and now we're on question 5.3.2, which says convert to kilometers the distance from Berlin to Anchorage. Okay, so we're going to look at the distance from Berlin to Anchorage on our annexure. The distance is 3,950. That's question 5.3.2. So we're converting 3,950 nautical miles to kilometers. Okay, so we're converting 3,950 nautical miles. We're converting it to kilometers. Okay, so now let's look at let's go back to our scenario and look at that part that says note. Okay, so we have been told that 1 nautical mile equals to 1.151 miles and 1 kilometer equals to 0.6215 miles. Okay, if you look there, like, we have not been told how to convert from nautical miles to kilometers, but we've been told how to convert from nautical miles to miles and from kilometers to miles. So this means that we have to start by doing what? Converting our nautical miles to miles first, and then we're going to take our miles and convert them to kilometers in order to get our final answer. Let me show what I mean by that. So we have 3,950 nautical miles. Okay, so how do we convert it to miles? So we know that 1 nautical mile equals to 1.151 miles according to the information that we've been provided with. So this means that we're just going to take this nautical miles that we have and multiply them by 1.151 miles, and then our answer will be in miles. Okay, so you quickly click that on the calculator. 3,950 multiplied by 1.151, and that gives us a total of 4,546.45 miles. So now we have our answer in miles, but we're not done, because the question is asking us to give the final answer in kilometers. So this means that now we take the miles, we convert them to kilometers in order to get the final answer. Okay, so still using the same information given to us. So here we're going to use the cross multiplication method, because somehow, some way, we're going to have to divide, unlike with here where we only had to multiply. Okay, so here we're going to say we're going to take the information that the question gave to us and say 1 kilometer equals to 0.6215 miles, and we are going to take this information that has been given to us and use it to get the answer using the cross multiplication method. I hope you guys are familiar with it. We've been using it quite a lot in the previous videos. So kilometers, miles. Okay, so what do we have between kilometers and miles? We have miles. Okay, so this means that we're looking for kilometers, and then we're going to put X on the side for kilometers, and then we have 4,546.45 miles. Okay, so now we're going to cross multiply. We're going to multiply this with this and multiply this with this. Okay, so we're going to say 1 kilometer multiplied by 4,546.45 equals to x multiplied by 0.6215. Okay, so this side we're going to have this multiplied by 1, it's going to be 4,546, doesn't change, equals to 0.6215 x. Okay, so x is this on this side. This means that we want to eliminate this number so that we can only be left with the x. How do we do that? We divide both sides by this number because we want it to go so that we can only be left with our x, which is what we're looking for. So we're going to divide both sides by this number that is on the same side with the x and say 0.6215. And then even on this side, 0.6215. Okay, this number cancels this number on this side, and then we're only left with x, which is what we wanted. So this means that to find our answer, we're going to have to divide these two. We're going to say 4,546.45 and divided by 0.6215. That gives us a total of 7,315.28. Sorry, let me just erase this. 285599 equals to x. Okay, remember that you have to write the whole number as it is, okay, so that if maybe that's where you had to leave it, you get your answer. I mean, you get all your marks. So this means that x equals to 7,315.285599. What were we looking for? We're looking for kilometers. So this means that our answer is in kilometers, and then we can round it off. 7,315.29 kilometers is our final answer. Okay, so this is what we have been looking for. This is our final answer. So now going to okay, so just to make something clear, if you have not been told you have not been told directly how to convert something to another thing, but rather it's going to be a complex thing, because you're going to have to, like we did here, we wanted to convert numerical nautical miles to kilometers, but we had to take it to miles first and take the miles and take them to kilometers in order to find our final answer. So it's quite a complex thing. It needs critical thinking, like engage with the question and make sure that you understand what's required of you. So now we're going to go to the next question, which I believe is question 5.3.3. Please tune into part 2 of this lesson to get the rest of the answers.